Hi everyone. It's Glaze Along Day again, and I teased this combo in the last Glaze Along, and that's what we're doing today. It is very like opally, springtimey. It's beautiful. It's very subtle, and it only takes 3 glazes and about 2 minutes to do. It is super simple, super quick, and a gorgeous result. So let's get started. First, you need 3 things. You need 3 different glazes, and not a shocker, they are spectrum glazes. So you need pearl white, you need curry, and you need sangria. That's it. That's the whole combo. Yeah, I know. It's super simple. A mop brush or any kind of brush that you're going to be using. These are the brushes that I use all the time. I will link them down in the description. I love them. They're cheap and they work great. But yeah, let's get started. I'm gonna flip you down and let's get glazing. All right, so what we're gonna be doing, I'm gonna be doing this combo on a mug, but you could do it on anything you want. I also am going to be doing it on a flower vase. I'm not going to show you on the flower vase, but you'll see it when we see their final result. Anyway, yeah, so we're going to start with pearl white. And pearl white, we are going to, normally with spectrum glazes, you need just 2 coats. But for some reason, when you combine spectrum glazes together, it's like you need 2 coats of each of them, regardless of the 2-coat rule. I'm not sure if that makes sense. But anyway, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with, we're gonna do like 1.5 coats inside. And I've mentioned this before in the last video, but spectrum glazes can sometimes be patchy. So if you glaze in a crosshatch pattern, so for instance, this dries really quickly. So as you can see, I went upwards. I'm gonna go around this time for the second coat. And I'm only gonna go about halfway up, and you'll see why in a minute. So I'm gonna do 2 on the bottom. And like I said, about halfway up, we're gonna do the second coat. Okay, there we go. So then on the outside, we're just gonna do 1 coat, and we're just gonna do it in a wavy pattern that kind of accentuates like the glaze movements, like it'll, and then obviously the handle. And we're only gonna do 1 coat. So just make sure that you have it on the top of the rim and everything. So there we go. I want that off there. There. So 1 coat on the outside and the handle. And I've also mentioned this before, but if you have a handle that has a dip, just be cautious of that, because that can definitely cause some pinholing if there's too much glaze in there. So just be cautious of that. But anyway, we're gonna let this dry and then we'll put on the second color. All right, so sangria is the second color. And what we're gonna do with sangria is we're gonna take it and we're gonna put 2 coats, and we're gonna go about halfway, 2 coats halfway, the outside. And we're also gonna do 2 coats right in the middle of where we stopped with the pearl white. So let's get started. I'm gonna do the inside first. So like I said, we're just gonna do 2 coats. I'm gonna do 2 wavy coats because I want this to get that look on the inside as well. So we'll let that dry. So then on the outside, I want to make sure, Sorry, this angle isn't the greatest. So I want to make sure that I get right to the very bottom. And I want to follow it all the way. I'm going to go back in and we'll put the second coat because Spectrum glazes dry so quickly. So I'm going to go in here. Okay, and then now we'll go do the outside again. The second coat, I try not to go too thick with the second. Because it is a second coat, but I don't want it to be like if it was my only coat, if that makes sense. So then don't forget about your handle. There we go. Sorry, I'm not sure if you saw any of the handle, but it's the same. So that is the Sangria. So now let's let this dry and we'll come back and I'll show you the final color. All right, so the last color is Curry. Now Curry is super easy. All we're gonna do is we're gonna do the inside, 2 coats on top of the Sangria, and same with the outside, 2 coats. But what we're gonna do is we're going to go about 1/2 inch over the Sangria so that it combines, so that they go over top of each other. And in my opinion, the Curry is what does all the magic here, which really surprises me because I have talked, oh gosh, because I have talked about Curry before being one of those colors that's so subtle and kind of unpredictable, in my opinion. But then we're just gonna do a wavy pattern on that as well. And again, like I said, my angle isn't the greatest. Don't forget your handle and your rim. And I'm just gonna go straight in, even though it's a little bit wet, I'm just gonna go straight in with the second coat. And there we go. So we're gonna let this dry overnight. We're gonna throw it into the kiln for a cone 6 glaze fire. This is the schedule that I'm gonna use. Right there, I'll put a picture of it. So you can pause, take a picture, do whatever you need. And then I will be back to show you the final results. All right, so our mugs are now out of the kiln. If I haven't already mentioned it, here's my firing schedule. And like I've mentioned also many times before, every kiln is different, every situation is different. So you know your kiln and you know that you may have to adjust that schedule just a little bit, like as in the hold times. So just keep that in mind. Anyway, let's get to look at them because they are gorge. Look at that. Now, I will say that these did not run as much as I expected them to. I did get some really pretty pooling right here. But I did make a vase with this and I'll post a picture right up here. And it ran so much more. And I'm not sure why this didn't because I did them exactly the same way. I think maybe if I made the Sangria a little bit thicker and I pulled the curry down just a little bit farther, but look at this handle. I love handles. Look at that. How pretty is that? So like I said, these didn't run as much as I expected them to, but they're so pretty. And then look at on the inside. It's hard to show the inside, but you can see the movement in there. And on the speckled clay, I just love it. Now this one moved just a touch more, but yeah, look how pretty that is. And the pooling, oh, I love it. And then this handle, I always like to show the handles because the handles is where you can get some of the most beautiful, beautiful glaze effects. But yeah, I think this is a really fun, really easy springtime project or summertime or even fall time. This is it's a beautiful combo. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this glaze along, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that when I post a video like this, you guys don't miss it. I hope you all are having a wonderful day. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye everyone.